Hello and welcome to the next lecture. Today we're going to speak about the Knative and how to deploy on the Knative. So in this video I'm going to use the Google Cloud Platform to use the Knative. You can try to set up it locally if you want to, but we won't going to concentrate on it. So we can remove the old cluster if you don't need it, but I don't need it, so I'll remove it. So I'll create a new cluster in the Kubernetes engine, and here, so let's name it Knative cluster, and here we can specify features, and here you can see that there is a features, and you have a serverless, and you can enable Cloud Run for NPOS. Yeah, so you can click on make changes, yeah, so that's it. You don't need to do anything else. So we'll have the features ready for our it will be, everything will be ready for the NPOS. Yeah, so when you click on this button, you'll have all the setup required, and we have the, so I set the Europe North again. So yeah, it's ready. Let's create it. It will take a little bit of time. Meanwhile, let's create a project. Nothing more new here. So we'll have the Quarkus Knative, the only thing, and then we have a Kubernetes Docker. Nothing really changed because of basically it's the same setup. You just need to tweak single parameter in application. And let's open it as well in the IntelliJ. All right, so cluster is ready. We can click on it, see the information, and mostly we're interested. So you can of course see the workload as well. There is a lot of pods here, deployments, and this is important because this is Knative. There is a lot of stuff going on. But moreover, the most important part is that we have the services here, and there is a load balancer. This is like the gateway for all the incoming requests that you'll have, and we're gonna use it in a while, in a second. Just remember to have this IP somewhere and not close. If you have the Minikube, this will be something different. Yeah, so you see this working fine, and so what we can do, of course, is click this connect button, get this command, and execute it in our command line where we're gonna build everything. So now that we have it, we can go to the IntelliJ. Of course, you will see that there is nothing more, nothing less, because it's basically the same Kubernetes and Docker. So the only difference is that we'll need to specify a few more keys in application properties. So I have them ready here. So first, of course, we'll need to set deployment target as a Knative. And the image pool policy is if not present, but we don't need it in our case, but I'll leave it just in case if you're gonna use the Minikube, for example, or something like this. Then we need to specify the registry as it was in our previous video. If you worked with me in the previous on the previous video, on the previous project, just use the same data that you have previously. We're gonna use this one. So yeah, if you don't know how it works, just look at the few previous videos specifically about the containers. And yeah, now we're ready to go. You won't believe how easy it will be. The only problem is that we'll have a port which will need to be modified. So you can call the, so ideally we would like to call the Maven Quarkus package. Where is it? Maven clean package Quarkus Kubernetes deploy true, and ideally it should work for you. I hope in the future, while this video has been recorded, this issue will be resolved. You'll see which feature in a second. But let's start our let's deploy our app, right? And now so it will build all the stuff, push the image, of course. And the last thing of this part is that it will apply the our Knative YAML or whatever we have. But the issue is that you won't see it here, but if you will try to apply this file Kubernetes Knative, you will see that we have an error when creating blah blah blah. Port name HTTP is not allowed, so it should be either H2C or HTTP1. So this issue occurs on the Quarkus 1.3.0. I'll submit the the issue. So hopefully it will be fixed when you will when this course will be already open for usage. But for now, if you have the same issue somehow, you need to go to IntelliJ IDEA and go to target Kubernetes Knative YAML and just put the one here, name HTTP1. I think it's also possible to do from the application properties, but I've never done it, so it depends. So you can try to figure out how to do it via the application properties if you want. So now you can go to terminal and call the same thing, kubectl apply -f target Kubernetes Knative JSON, and you'll see that oh, sorry, it's JSON. Okay, so we'll need to have a YAML like this, and you'll see that it was created correctly. So how to test it? This is super easy. So as you remember, I said to remember this address that we had. So just copy over the start of the port here. So just copy the IP address. Idea of the Lambda functions or this serverless platform Knative is that you have one entry point for all of the functions. So the backend is like more of a function. And for now, you can see that we have this Quarkus Knative with 0 pods because we don't use any pod right now, right? So we don't query it. Once it's queried, it will start up the pods and do your job. So first, of course, you need to know that it's serverless. You can't do the logic in Quarkus that won't be stored anywhere, somewhere. So if it will be, if you want to query it once and then store something temporary in a backend and then you query it twice, it probably will be different. It will be not probably, it will be for sure different image, different instance. So yeah, so you can go to Postman. So let's go to Postman and specify here our address like this. So the port should be 80, and you actually can see the 80 port here as well. So if you need to, you can copy this one here. And so this won't give you much. You will see that it's 404 not found, and this is expected because you need to specify the host in the header. So the value should be so the value you can query by a specific command. So you call the kubectl get k8s. So this k8s is a Knative services, and this will give you the URL. So you just copy this URL, actually without the HTTP, and put the value as a host. So you need to have a header with the host and then the value Quarkus Knative default example.com. And you will see that when you get it, so as I said, it's working correctly. You can go as well on the hello oh sorry, the weather, and you will get the hello, of course, and every time you'll get the so this can be scaled massively. So basically, as you know, the serverless functions can scale pretty good, and the best example is lambdas. The AWS lambdas, because you don't care about mostly, you need to care, of course, about the persistency layer, how you persist the data, but if it's distributed database, you basically can have like million requests, and for each of them you can start up the serverless function and it will be ready. Of course, to make it a lot faster, you will need to make the native image, which can be done with the super easy -p profile native, like this, and this will build the native image. You can try out it as well, but basically there is no difference except the for the example you don't need to do it. But yeah, so now you know how to deploy the Knative on the Kubernetes cluster, on the Knative cluster, and you saw how to fix the issue if it arises with the HTTP, and yeah, so you know how to which properties to put. And yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.